Welcome to MyBizmate, a Philippine-based bookkeeping and tax compliance platform for accountants, bookkeepers and business owners. The workflow map shows how transactions move from recording to posting, reporting and filing. Everything is connected. Select an item to open its related sheet, book, report or tax output. This guided structure shows what to do next and where each record goes. Now let us open the sheets. Sheets are where you record day-to-day business transactions. The sales sheet captures the customer, amount, tax type, revenue account, and withholding details. Once posted, the entry automatically flows to the books and reports. Collections records payments received from customers and links them to their sales. This lets you monitor settlement accounts, references, and remaining customer balances. The creditable withholding tax sheet tracks Bureau of Internal Revenue Form 2307 certificates received from customers. Each certificate is connected to the related sale and the amount withheld. This supports reconciliation and tax credit reporting. Next, the purchases sheet records supplier bills, expenses, taxes, and expense accounts. You can classify value-added tax, withholding tax, and the correct source document for every transaction. Posted purchases update the books automatically. Next are payments. Payments records amounts paid to suppliers and the cash or bank account used. It can also settle a related purchase. Because the records are linked, you can trace the payment back to the original bill and accounting entry. This improves control and helps prevent duplicate recording. The withholding tax payable sheet tracks certificates issued to suppliers. It organizes Bureau of Internal Revenue Form 2307 details, tax bases, rates, and amounts withheld. These records feed the required withholding reports. Next is payroll. Payroll consolidates employee compensation, benefits, deductions, and withholding tax. You can review each payroll run and the amounts assigned to every employee. The figures also support compensation tax reporting. The journal sheet is used for adjustments and transactions not entered through the other sheets. Each entry must balance, with complete debit and credit lines before posting. Posted entries become part of the general ledger. The lapsing schedule handles fixed assets. It summarizes property and equipment by group, including cost, accumulated depreciation, and book value. You can run monthly depreciation and keep the asset schedule connected to the accounting records. This removes the need to maintain a separate depreciation worksheet. Now, let us review the books. Books are generated from posted transactions. The general journal displays all posted entries in one chronological record. You can review dates, references, accounts, particulars, debits, and credits. Entries remain traceable. This gives accountants a complete audit trail from the original entry to the final posting. General ledger shows account activity. It includes opening balances and movements. You can inspect how each account balance was formed. Subsidiary books show transaction details. These include sales and purchase details. Outgoing payments appear here. Cash receipts lists money received. Under Masters, the chart of accounts contains the accounts used throughout the system. The preset structure can be reviewed and adjusted to match the company's actual operations. Accounts can be grouped, classified, and assigned to the proper financial statement section. This keeps transaction entry and reporting consistent. Parties stores customers and suppliers in one master list. Save names, tax identification numbers, contact details, and classifications for repeated use. Tax codes controls the tax treatment available in transactions. You can maintain the rates and default behavior. Alphanumeric tax codes contains Philippine withholding classifications and rates. Next, Employee stores payroll and tax information for each worker. These records support payroll processing. Bank accounts identifies the settlement accounts used for collections and payments. Branches separates company locations while keeping their records within one workspace. This is useful for businesses operating in multiple sites. Fixed assets maintains the detailed asset register. Each asset includes its cost, useful life, depreciation, and current status. The register remains connected to purchases and the lapsing schedule. Financial reports are produced directly from the posted books. Start with the trial balance. It verifies account balances. The balance sheet presents assets, liabilities, and equity for the selected period. The income statement follows. It summarizes revenue, costs, expenses, and profit. Cash flow explains cash movements. This shows where cash came from and how it was used. Changes in equity tracks, capital, and retained earnings. It summarizes opening balances, movements, and ending equity. Receivable aging follows. It groups customer balances by age. Payable aging provides the same analysis for suppliers. Reports can be viewed or exported. Tax reports organizes schedules required for Philippine compliance. Relief sales and relief purchases summarize value-added tax transactions. The withholding summary covers certificates received. The payee list covers tax withheld. Alpha lists support annual filing. Switch between grouped and detailed views. Review differences and unmatched certificates. Export the schedules when needed. All schedules come from the same posted data, reducing repeated encoding and simplifying reconciliation. Next is the tax summary. The tax summary brings tax computations into one workspace. Start with value-added tax. It compares output tax and allowable input tax to determine the tax payable or credit. Expanded withholding tax summarizes supplier withholding. Final withholding tax shows the tax base, rate, and amount due. Percentage tax is computed for the selected period. Income tax follows. It uses recorded revenue and deductions to estimate the liability. Quarterly and annual figures remain connected. Compensation summarizes taxable pay, non-taxable pay, and employee withholding. Now, let us open tax returns. Tax returns organizes filing obligations by monthly, quarterly, and annual periods. Each card identifies the form, due date, attachments, and available filing actions. Start with the monthly returns. These cover compensation and withholding remittances. Select the period and review the computation. Quarterly returns include value-added tax, percentage tax, withholding, and income tax. Choose the required quarter. The system uses posted records to prepare the figures and generate the applicable output. Annual returns use the full year's data. Choose the taxpayer type and the applicable income tax method. The corresponding return is then prepared. Requirements appear beside each form. This creates a clear compliance checklist. It helps users move from bookkeeping to filing without maintaining disconnected worksheets. Before generating a return, review the registration details, filing period, and attachments. You can also view prior periods. Everything remains organized by due date. The process stays traceable. Next, open Team. The Team page lists members and their roles. Invite a user by entering an email address and selecting the appropriate role. Each person receives only the access needed for their work. Then send the invitation. The My Companies tab shows assigned businesses. You can see which companies each member is allowed to manage. This supports controlled collaboration. Use Power Search for faster navigation. Search for pages, sheets, reports, or transactions from the top bar. Results appear instantly. You can also switch between companies that your account is authorized to access. Open settings to manage the company's configuration and registration details. Update the address, revenue district office, and accounting period. Under Sheets, enable payroll, withholding certificates, timekeeping, or fixed asset tracking as needed. You can also choose default accounts. Changes update the workspace without deleting existing transactions or posted records. Finally, open clients. Accounting firms can access connected client companies here. MyBizmate keeps bookkeeping, reporting, and Philippine tax compliance connected in one clear workflow.